Last week in Gauntlet, we set up our CRM that was modeled after Zendesk. We got the basic features for tickets, a knowledge base, chat, and then admin pages for customers, team, and settings. This week, our job was to build upon those basic features and especially implement AI ones to handle a lot of the drudgery work that can be automated with AI. So the non-AI feature that I implemented was adding email support so that people, if they prefer to communicate that way, can send in to an email address. It will check if they are a member of the organization. If they are, it will create a ticket and they will receive updates from the managers of the organization for every comment, and they will be able to respond. And the ticket ID in the email will be able to match it up, and they can fully manage their ticket through email. The next and larger feature that we implemented was adding a AI responses, and we took a different perspective on this. So a lot of AI chatbots these days will respond always, but they will have made up features or they will go in circles and seem to lose the context of the conversation or be overly cheerful but not very helpful. So the approach that I took with this was to have a generation step and then an evaluator step. So the evaluator takes in a number of criteria and evaluates all the same context from the generation step and provides detailed feedback when a response is not up to the standards that we want, and will then hand it off to a human agent. So some of the criteria that we have is the main one, which is a pass or fail, whether a handoff is needed based on the content of the message and how that fits into the conversation history and all of the knowledge base articles that are relevant to the user's query. So then it will give a general reason for why it did that. And then it will evaluate on four separate metrics, which is accuracy to the knowledge base articles, the conversation flow, the customer sentiment, and the response quality. Then it will choose an option which is primarily the reason for the failure, and it will give the confidence in its answer that it was correct in doing that. And then knowledge base gaps, which is going to highlight the areas that could be improved upon in the knowledge base so that you could add new articles and the AI will be able to answer those questions in the future so that over time, paying attention to these and adding new articles will allow for the AI to hand off less and less and free up more human resources. So let's go ahead and test this out. So we created a bunch of articles in here for this fake company called Finally that handles accounting stuff for small businesses and manages all sorts of things related to that. And this was all generated by ChatGPT to avoid using a company that exists because ChatGPT has been trained on a lot of that information. So you wouldn't be able to know if it was really giving responses for a real world scenario with a company that is not known to AI. So we generated all of that content. And then the way that we're going to test the effectiveness of this is by creating 20 questions that are similar to what the company does, but the answers to those questions are not available in the knowledge base. And we're counting on the evaluator to take note of that and stop that message from going forward, since there is not a specific answer that can be given without hallucinating. So we can first try one with missing information. So let me send that in. And then we will go to our tickets. And email is a little bit slower, so it takes about 15 seconds for that to come in and be processed. And while I'm waiting for that one, I'll just go ahead and put in the next one for information that it should have. And it looks like that one just came in. So we'll take a look, and it correctly noticed that it cannot sufficiently answer this with the information that is in the knowledge base articles. So it will give the agent, the human agent that will take over some information so that it can get up to speed quickly and understand what's going on. So it will send the response that it was about to send in an internal note so that the human agent can read and understand what was going on. And then it will give the reason for the handoff, and it incorrectly states that the knowledge base does not specify the ability. So it gives the reason why it didn't respond itself, and then a quick summary of the conversation. In this case, there was only one previous message, so it's pretty short, but it will summarize any length of conversation. And when after this conversation has been completed, an admin can come in and start to find ways to improve it. So in here, we've got a detailed answer to everything that went wrong, and it will highlight, importantly, knowledge base gaps. So right here, we've got linking Apple Pay or Google Pay to Finally for automatic transaction syncing. So you could come in and see this and give a response to say, yes, we do support it, or no, we do not support it. And the next time this query comes in, the AI will be able to respond itself and will not require any intervention. The point being here that we do not give customers inaccurate information and end up with upset customers. So now we can go ahead and test our next one where it should have responded. And yep, it came through. This time it was not an internal note. And it gives the detailed steps on how to do it and provides an article for more information. And if we look over here, we can see that we've got our response by email. The first one did not respond because that was an internal note and it needed to be intervened. So that one did not come through until the human agent takes over. But this one did come through, so email support is working. And what we did this week was not just testing things out, but this week we wanted to actually measure accuracy. So I ran 20 different queries for when there was missing information and when there was information that should result in a response. And through my Langsmith logs, I added and sorted the different requests that I put in and whether it succeeded or failed. And I've got that here in my annotation queue. And for the failed responses, or for the missing information tests, we got a 95% success rate. Only 1 out of the 20 was unsuccessful. And for the questions that it should have answered, we had a 100% success rate. And this is just to test that our evaluation step is not overly stringent and flagging responses for questions that we do have answers to. So I was pleased with these results.